That's a...
That's
there
the
it is. There it is. Live there. Let's record here. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Turnstile, a.k.a. T-Texas Tony Turnstile, with my man, Dutch, the voice of the people, Chattahoochee. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. See, my voice sometimes is a little much, right? I get a little heated. I start arguments, especially with...
Should we turn off the heater? I'm at a good temperature right now, but man, this is the cold. Nakatomi Towers, 4th floor. 4th floor. Here, I got it. Middle button. Got our Western theme. Oh, there we go.
While wearing a Hawaiian shirt, dude.
Got a Hawaiian shirt. Got all my gear on today. Got all kinds of stuff to talk about. We can road map it first and then get into the mix. How's your weekend, bud?
Same as always.
Yeah. I think this is probably our best intro music.
The song's great.
This doesn't pump you up. You can't go too high.
Oh, I will say this weekend was really cool.
It blows it out.
Like my wife and I and her friend, we went to like this marketplace. They had a bunch of cool snacks that they don't sell in other stores. So I got a bunch of Faygo, like 3 bottles of Faygo.
Have you ever been to one of the Juggalo things?
No. I want to. Like, it'd be fun to go to a gathering of the Juggalos, right?
I never really got too much into the Juggalo thing, but the Workaholics episode where they go to the Juggalo.
Oh, yeah, dude. Workaholics is great.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Another great show.
Yeah, so episode, what do we call it, 28?
Yeah, it's 28.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. You'll notice we do have a baseball hotline. We invested millions of dollars in a Magic Jack.
It was a couple thousands for sure.
I don't even think this phone works pretty well. I did order like a red phone, you know? Because I think that like that's the old phone we had in my house like 20-something years ago, and I think that's why it sounds weird because the receiver's busted. But we can supposedly still take calls into the soundboard if anybody wants to do that. But
so that shit on Amazon. I almost bought it, the red one.
Yeah, roadmap for today, folks. Obviously, World Series recap. Lots to talk about there.
A lot. Yeah.
And then I could talk about Bobby Valentine's alleged invention of the wrap sandwich. Bobby Valentine, Bobby V, baseball man, baseball lifer, has also Bobby Valentine's restaurants. I don't know if they're still going, but back in the
Probably
day,
not.
he had like 5 or 6 of them.
Celebrity restaurants never really last.
They don't last forever, I guess.
Some do, but don't they have some in Asia, like Japan, like the Kenny Rogers chicken?
I bet if he was huge in Japan, he endorsed so much stuff in Japan that
I'm Kenny Rogers.
When you watch that Zen of Bobby V film, he endorsed so much stuff. I think a Bobby V restaurant would do great. But you see, he was like such a integral part of the Bobby Valentine restaurant chain that he was like at the restaurants all the time. So I thought it was like kind of hard for him. He was going to his restaurants, I think, and like third base coaching for the Mets at the same time when at the end of his career, he was like doing that stuff. But anyway, he alleges in his book that he invented the wrap sandwich. So that's on the roadmap.
I don't know. It's kind of iffy.
World Series, Bobby V invented the wrap. What else is on my roadmap here? I'm getting my SABR certification. They only have one right now. Level 1 conversational analytics and critical thinking in baseball. That's I think it's like $125 if you're a SABR member, and you take these little modules and you can learn all about analytics and the different statistics that you hear about that sometimes confuse the old school romantic people like myself. You know, because when you look at Baseball Reference, there's all those, the WAR, the O WAR, the F WAR, the B WAR. Many. You know,
what is it? Wins above replacement and shit.
FIPS. So it's interesting once you get into it, and that's why I wanted to take that certification, so I'm educated on it, because I'm very much a romantic when it comes to baseball. So I'm caught in between, and I think that'll lead nicely into a little bit of banter about the Christian Javier no-no that got pulled out in the World Series with a 5-run lead and turned into a combined no-hitter, which is still cool. But it's one of those things where it's the trump card is analytics, and I think there's something we're maybe missing there, more than maybe missing.
It's not a no-hitter. Combined no-hitters are stupid. It doesn't count.
it's painful, because Don Larson's the only guy to have ever done it. And you got this dude climbing a mountain. Yeah, and it kind of makes more sense if it's a 1-run lead.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, we can't lose it. We're down a game in the series. We have to win. But a 5-run lead, dude's dealing. Obviously that's the old man shakes fist at cloud. That doesn't happen 25 years ago. But I think that's the philosophical conversation we'll have with my SABR certification. And then I got some Winter League stuff, Lidom, Puerto Rico, Roberto Clemente League, and then we'll go over the Pacific Ocean, talk a little bit of CPBL, KBO. I think we wrapped the Nippon Series. The Japan Series ended, but right now, I'm not sure if it's live right now, but if you look around on like my tweets or notification, there's the Samurai Series where Japan's national team is playing Australia's national team. I think they already played today because they're like ahead of us, the international timeline. But Roki Sasaki should be pitching tomorrow, which might already be like it's already November 10th in Japan right now. So Roki Sasaki's pitching game 2 of that series. So that's for you. If you think baseball's over, you're mistaken. That's what I'm telling people.
It's never over.
It's never over at 3BGB.
There's leagues all year round, 24/7.
And then the last bits of my roadmap, I'm talking a little bit of Billy Martin, a little bit of BillyBall, and then Henry Urrutia hit 420 for Saltillo in the Mexican leagues. And I only mention that because I was looking at the Dominican Winter Leagues, and he's gone down there, and now he's batting. He's like a batting leader in the Dominican Winter Leagues. But I was like, why didn't somebody pick up on this guy? But he's at that age where they don't want to mess with him. He's like 35 or 36. So, but what do you think? But should we check sound? Like, do we even know? Because you do that good, and then you can tell. Or maybe a caller. Somebody's gonna call in, tell us.
I really hope, honestly, it's some random person that was just browsing YouTube and stumbled upon this thing. It was like, let me fucking call this number and say something stupid.
That's what I think it's going to be.
I think that would be great, because then we wouldn't know how to. It'd be like honest reactions.
That's kind of what I want, because I was talking to my buddy Jay in the can here on the 4th floor of the Nakatomi Towers, old Marine Corps buddy, and he goes, "You want me to call into the show?" I was like, no, I think early on, people that ever do a hotline, they'll like make their friends or some people call in and orchestrate that call. When I was like, nah, let's see what it is. It's organic. Maybe your wife calls. Maybe some random person. We have a lot of South Korean viewers. Maybe somebody from Korea's up and they want to call.
Maybe Petey across the street at the 7-Eleven.
Petey?
At 7-Eleven might give us a call, dude.
You never know. Maybe Warner Brothers. So they just wants to offer the contract.
Like I've said before, we've said this like in earlier episodes. I really want a 7-Eleven sponsorship because their donuts are spectacular. We've had plenty of them. So if you're listening, dude, like 7-Eleven, hook us up. We'll promote the shit out of your stuff.
I think if we ever did get callers, it would be the portion where there would be like a portion of the show, like the later end, like set that aside for phone calls. I'm just leaving it on the whole time. Like people can just interrupt the show, and we'd want to see what they would want to talk about, right?
Yeah, like you're wrong.
Like, because we're not going to probably get any calls, so just like if it actually, I checked. So I put on like little 3BGB messages because it just had the automatic like Magic Jack messages. So I recorded some messages, so you can call it 24 hours a day and say, "Hey, dude, I want you to talk about my." Mickey Mantle 16-year-old team, or talk about my college, or I want you to talk about Australian baseball. You can leave a message, and we'll try to work that into the show if you don't want to call into the show.
I know, like, a lot of radio stations, they have a screener beforehand. I think it's great that we don't.
We don't. We don't
Whatever
have
they
that.
say is just going to be, like, right, there's no edit. Because I hate when, like, radio stations do like edited calls and it's all nice. Like, no, dude, I want someone coming here and just say something stupid.
I think they'll dog cuss us. I have a lot of unpopular baseball opinions. I think that's good. Every once in a while, I want to say it was like...
Well, we know how I feel about the Astros, in my opinions.
And I think that's polarizing, but I think it makes for good television.
I think so,
because I totally disagree with you, but that's the beauty of baseball.
I go back and listen to myself and I start laughing. Because I get super heated.
I was like the Maury Povich show or something. They have the screener, and some dude talks to the screener and gets through the screener. Like they're like, okay, that's a good story,
Yeah.
and then once he gets on, then he loses it.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about my mom dying and how like I had to, and then it's like something totally different.
So like, how good is a screener really? You just like talk to him, put him on hold. Right there, I was like, let's see what they want to talk about. They want to talk about barbecue, okay.
But this is a show about family losses. Hey, barbecue.
But yeah, the baseball hotlines, anything baseball, or you want to talk about movies? I forgot. I was trying to share some Goodfellas stuff the other day. There's a great scene where Robert De Niro chokes, or Jimmy Conway is the name of his character. It chokes this guy, says, "Give me my money today." And I was like, that's Mattress Mac at Caesars right now. He's just choking people with telephone cords at Caesars, saying, "Give me my money right now."
I have an opinion on Mattress Mac too. I don't really care for that guy either.
All right,
that's
and then
my hot take.
And you've got some hot takes today. You had a couple good ones. One you were going to talk about was
Vida Blue.
Vida Blue.
And why, to me, Vida Blue is the same situation as Pete Rose, is why he's not in the World Series.
Yeah.
Not the same, like, what they did,
yeah.
but, like, what they did wasn't that big a deal, and they should still be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I know Vida Blue's in 2 Hall of Fames, like the Giants Hall of Fame and the Athletics, right?
Yeah.
But he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
And I can't say this because I didn't see, you can go on YouTube and find Vida Blue footage, but I can't remember if there's like a book about Charlie Finley, who was like the owner of the A's, or how I went down the Vida Blue rabbit trail. Go ahead.
I know they had a disagreement with his pay. I think that's why he left Oakland, right?
Yeah, no, he was sideways with the owner, and like a lot of the players got sideways with Charlie Finley because he was one of those kind of Charlie Kaminsky, penny pinching dudes who's like, this is a business, and he lost Reggie. Reggie went to New York and all that stuff. So
Vida went to the Giants.
Yeah, Vida didn't like the way he handled his contract, but and I'm getting to a roundabout point, but I'm saying, and I can't prove this because, like I said, I didn't see Doc Gooden pitch, but what I remember reading about Vida and how hard his fastball was is he seemed like he was like Doc Gooden before Doc Gooden was around. He was a dude who, and I don't know if that's a good comparison or not. I mean, I've seen Dwight Gooden pitch, but Vida Blue was almost like threw so hard, and yeah, he had other stuff, but he was almost like a one-pitch dude, and you weren't even going to hit that pitch. His fastball just had like heavy weight to it, and he just kept pumping that thing in there all game long, and it didn't even matter. You could go up there like, I'm looking for it, I'm looking for the fastball, you weren't going to hit it. That was Vida Blue, so it's like you could, like, yeah, Dwight Gooden's got a huge hammer curve and a fastball, and you're going to try to just sit fastball and hit it, and it's like you still couldn't. So, but yeah, that'll be fun listening to you go down on Vida Blue. I pulled some of his stats. He played longer than I thought, but nobody ever talks about his like San Francisco years, you know?
Which is weird because like you think of him as an A's player, he actually played half of his career pretty much in both places.
Yeah,
like half in Oakland, half in San Francisco.
Definitely the statistical glory years were in Oakland, and then you have, for photography purposes, the amazing green and yellow.
Plus, he was like you. He's a southpaw, left-hander.
Oh, it's Vida Blue. That's awesome. What else you want to get into there? That and just World Series recapping?
Yeah. I was going to talk about baseball cards, and if nothing really special, but like if you think like the logos matter and shit on the cards.
Okay.
Because like some people get pissed off if they don't have the MLB team's logo, but like aren't you collecting? I hate when people collect for the value of a card rather than like their own personal reasons.
Yeah, definitely collect anything artistic. And I just say from my crypto, playing in crypto, there's so much scams and there's a huge dump lately. But I'm just when I talk about like NFTs and art, people were like, "Oh, I want to buy this because I think it's going to be valuable."
Yeah, which I hate. I hate that because like Panini makes baseball cards, but they don't have the right to the logos, right? But those cards are way cooler than the Topps cards.
And Dunross is Dunross like Panini related? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, because Dunross like scrubs all the logos, but
which I think those cards are cooler. So that's why like, when I go to a baseball card store, that's the first thing I get is like Panini cards because they look way cooler than Topps.
You can find because like people tell me like that card is worth. I wouldn't know 5 cents. I was like, that's a way cool Joe Morgan baseball card. I don't have a Joe Morgan, so yeah, it's not valuable to you, but I think it's cool.
I don't look at value, so I don't really know if I have anything worth of value. I just like, oh, this card looks fucking cool.
Just buy what you like, but
especially those cards you get where you get like the piece of like merchandise on it, like the jersey or the bat.
I think I got one of those Japanese cards.
Yeah. I have like a Stan Musial baseball bat like piece card.
I'm excited because we have the 3 Japanese boxes that we're going to use for props and sketches. But I got that piece of fabric of jersey out of one of those Genesis packs, I think, and I was like, maybe I got another piece of NPB gameplay jersey fabric. That would be great. But I think maybe we get a lot of bump music and then we don't use it all. I want to use a bumper music and just knock out a short segment. The Bobby Valentine invented the wrap sandwich, so people can just know that piece of history. Because he was a frat brother with a guy that started Kinko's, which is crazy.
Kinko's.
Yeah, he was like USC frat brothers with a Kinko's copies guy. But he also invented the wrap sandwich. So, most interesting guy in the world. Tell me what you think of this. All right. I'm going to have to go glasses off.
So you can see?
So I can see. In Connecticut, the restaurant was, this is page 125 of the Valentine Way. In Connecticut, the restaurant was booming. We were selling more Budweiser than any bar in the state. And this was the year and this is in quotes, invented the wrap. Yes. In 1981, I was in the kitchen working the grill for lunch. My banker, I guess this guy was like a regular, my banker ordered a club sandwich. We had no club on the menu, and our toaster was broken. We had just received a delivery of 10-inch tortilla shells. I took, which is funny that they say shells because it's usually the floppy. I took the ingredients of a club sandwich and rolled them up in a tortilla shell. So I guess he's just calling the actual flat tortilla shells. But anyway, I put American cheese on the top, melted the cheese in the salamander. I cut the roll into 3 parts and told the waitress to serve it as a Club Mex. My manager, Paul Pupo, started calling it a wrap. And years later, we went on the Food Channel and said that the Club Mex was the first wrap sandwich in America. And then he says, this is the kicker right here, the Wall Street Journal tried to prove him wrong. So a legitimate publication got involved. The Wall Street Journal tried to prove Bobby Valentine wrong, but could not. Ha! He puts that in there, the ha.
Ha!
So he's pretty proud of himself on inventing the wrap sandwich, and I'm inclined to agree with him if the Wall Street Journal got involved. Bet you didn't know that. Maybe that's worth like $10 million on Final Jeopardy, but now we can transition. I'll get some transition music for World Series because we got a Western. Dutch picked Western today as a good.
I think Western would be a kind of cool little change, you know?
Yep.
Why not?
So World Series recapping. Astros did it. You called it right. I was all talking up my gambling. But you said Astros in 5 based on strength of team, just straight up baseball analytics, and you weren't off by but 1 game.
I was like, it was gonna be 4-1. I said the Phillies would get 1 at home, and that was it. And yeah, I was off by 1.
Still 1 on the road, and you're just off by 1.
It sucks because I wanted the Phillies to fucking win so bad, just because I cannot stand the Astros except Dickie Thon. He's the only exception. And a few older players, you know, like Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio. Yeah. Those guys were cool.
Billy Wagner.
But a lot of these modern guys, Jeff Kent, did he play for the Astros?
I think Kent did play for the Astros.
I don't know, but anyway.
What his career path from the Mets to the Giants to the Astros.
This modern franchise just irritates me.
Yeah, people got the bitterness toward the Astros. I certainly don't. Congratulations to the Astros, but I had the Phillies in 7, even though I liked the Astros better as a team. I don't like it when you pull people out of no-hitters, and Verlander got pulled out of 2, and then in the midst of the World Series, you pulled Christian Javier.
That's a big no-no.
That's a no-no to the baseball gods, and that's why I felt the Yankees and Dodgers were eliminated. So,
well, there's a couple good things that came out of this series. Dusty Baker finally winning a
that's great
baseball championship as a manager. He won one in the 80s with some team. I don't remember what team it was, but
Dusty's had such a. I'm sure he's probably already got. I don't know how these baseball players, sign autobiography deals, but I'm sure there's a Dusty Baker book somewhere, but he needs to write another one because he just keeps going.
And another cool thing was that guy, what's his name? Trey Mancini or whatever?
Oh, Trey Mancini?
He had cancer, and he came back.
That's a really nice story.
So that's cool. But I mean, other than that,
did you see the Trey Man? Because I know your channels didn't have it. Did you see the Trey Man City play at first? It basically saved. I think it was Game 4.
Was that like the dive thing?
Oh my God! It was Schwarber hit a laser beam, and it was a short hop too. So I mean, you could say
that's the one, right? Like the reach thing, or the.
Well, no, he kind of fell on it.
Yeah.
But and say what you will, because I would have tied the game, but it's like, oh well, it's lucky. Just found his glove, which maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but there's a high percentage of time people are going to boot that ball, and he gloved it when it counted, and that was huge, and that was the game. So whether he was hitting or not, Trey Mancini had a really cool moment in that win for the Astros.
There's been a lot of cool historic first base plays throughout the playoffs.
Yeah,
like the famous Bill Buckner one between his legs.
Poor Bill Buckner. That one is. That one, like the Bartman, is more of a commentary on how fickle and evil we can be as fans.
Steve Bartman played nothing to me, in my opinion, on that whole Chicago fall.
Yeah, I can't remember which game it was and what now, because I think the Cubs got eliminated.
They were playing the Marlins, right?
Right, and then the Red Sox were cursed for another 20 years after, and then they finally broke it. But I'm like, the Bartman one, I can't remember how. I mean, it obviously would have been an out. He caught it, but there's no guarantees.
Yeah,
Cubs go on.
Was it Moises Alou, whatever his name was?
Yeah, Alou.
I think if he would have just stayed calm, it would have. I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been such a big deal.
Because he threw a fit.
He was very animated.
That's what started the whole thing.
And that was mentioned there's a good documentary on it. But Bartman, for all accounts, just a huge baseball fan. So
I feel bad for him, though, man. Like, he couldn't go to games for a while.
Yeah, because, I guarantee you I probably would have done the same thing.
Of course, dude, you're a fan. You see, and it's the playoffs and the ball's coming towards you. What are you going to do? Oh, let me not move. You're going to your natural reaction.
And I think like most foul balls, I have to go back and look. I think Bartman muffed it, so he interfered with the play. But then sometimes you'll see a great foul ball catch. They'd be like, oh yeah. Then you're like, oh no, I just stolen out from the Cubs. But even worse, he muffed it. So that was sad. But
not only as a fan, but your natural reaction is just to fucking reach for a ball that's coming at you.
It's not about them. It's just we're horrible.
If I was him, I would have grown a beard out, grew my hair out, and tried to go to a game.
Yeah, I mean, he was a season tickets, and they've done stuff where they asked him to come out and throw the first pitch because Boston tried to make amends to Buckner,
Yeah.
And then they've tried to do something I think along those lines with Bartman, but I don't know if it took hold. He's pretty much dude, I just want
with
my
those
privacy.
World Series wins, it kind of helps get
Yeah,
forgive those people.
People forget. So maybe if this is what the Mariners need to do then. Maybe if you're a team with a huge hex, just a jinx on you, and you can't break it, if you have a fan or a really heartbreaking, horrible story in the postseason, then you're guaranteed to win the World Series about 20 years later to redeem. And then you go to the forgiveness route and then point the finger back at, oh, dude, we're all just jerks for hating on that person.
So, if a person wants to bring their service dog in the game, you say no? 20 years later.
Yeah, just the dog runs on and grabs the ball.
And I
play.
I said service dog in quotes because sometimes people just fucking bring random.
I'm sure somebody will get offended.
Somebody bring random animals. This is my service animal. It's not, though.
Yeah, but seriously, you're just being really disrespectful right there because it's not a service animal. It's not here to serve us, okay? It's an ability animal.
But some people use that as an excuse, and then people who actually need a service animal, they can't bring it in.
Yeah, the service animal thing does get out of control.
One time when I worked at HEB, there was this person who brought a quote service dog in, was barking at the customers, and stuff that a service dog would not do.
Yeah.
And then it shit all over the floor. And the guy was like, "Oh man, that never happens." Yes, it does.
Yes,
clearly, your dog is
because you just bought a vest.
Clearly, your dog is not trained. Service dogs don't bark. They don't look at other people. They stay by their owner, and they don't shit on the floor.
They don't dump in HEB.
And I felt bad for the maintenance guy because they made him clean it up. I would have told the guy with the dog. I would have told the guy with the dog, "You clean it up." That's your dog, dude.
You brought the dog. Couldn't be. That's worthy of a show. The service animal scamming that's happening.
Oh my god, dude. You can tell when a dog's not service dog.
But
anyway,
World Series was great. Yordan Alvarez basically was the dagger. Like, if you were a Phillies, you had to win that game, and it was like right there for you up until Jordan goes orbital. Absolutely, like, launches it to dead center. It was such a crush ball. But Jordan hits lefties really good, so Monday morning quarterback, you could say, like, don't bring in Alvarez, but as it may, the Astros were just a good ball club, and I'm not even getting into the scandal because we've been down that a million times. I'm like, just don't be a victim. Switch your signs. It's like the easiest thing to do. But
don't be a victim.
Well, like the Nationals. Like, you'll never hear a Nationals fan make a single Astros complaint. But be that as may, I think they weren't cheating this year, so it was, it's just good baseball, So for me, I've let it go. I think that was a great baseball team winning a great series, and against the hate too. So they're kind of against the grain because they can say we tune it out, we don't feel it, but the entire city and like that fan base and that team, they hear it all. They hear all the beat, And some of it's founded. Like I give it, it's founded in reality that there was that scandal. So you can't tell people like, well, never talk about the cheating again. Shut up about it. And obviously the fans that people don't want to hear is what it is. I get that, but this team this year to me was just baseball playing, and what a good team, So my hat goes off to the Stros. I don't hate the Stros.
Like I said, I'm glad Dusty Baker finally won one.
Yeah,
like it was cool to see the baseball guys been around for like 50 years or something in baseball. But yeah, I don't look at their I won't look at their wins as a thing. Like, oh, congratulations. It's just but like I said, Dusty Baker, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad he won a World Series.
And I do like a lot of. I love Bregman. That guy's a ball player. I just like a lot of guys on the team. Yuli Gurriel, another one of these journeymen. Because I'm going to talk about Henry Urrutia. He's a Cuban, so like Yuli is, and just traveled around, played a ton of leagues.
Hey, we got another porn comment from 69mega.com. I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you.
If you're going to sponsor us, like, just throw some hats our way. Dude, I feel like that's such a 90s thing to do, is walk around with like a porn company trucker hat on. Like, what was that fucking douchebag from back in the day, Girls Gone Wild?
Oh, didn't that guy get sued? He put like a minor.
That guy was a fucking asshole. So, like, one day on lunch at work, I was like,
so good.
A couple of us went to break and we were watching like a little documentary about that guy. So I learned a lot in half an hour.
Nobody loves a downfall story. I mean, everybody loves a downfall story. When you're on top and you watch that person getting taken down about 50 pegs, that's the best thing ever. And that dude,
only if they're like a terrible person.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the guy, but you're out there making millions off of like getting girls to take their tops off. But the way was so perfect. Like, he got the 17-year-old daughter of like probably like a New York City mega lawyer, who's like, "Oh, you're gonna put my 17-year-old in your video?
That's my little girl."
Okay. Let me pull the full weight of this multi-million-dollar law firm behind it and absolutely destroy your life. So
I've never watched those videos, so I don't really know. But like, based on the commercials you would see on like 3 in the morning, you're like, I don't know, she doesn't look 18.
I'm so old. I forget how that was. That was like when that stuff would get like advertised on like cable channels where you could maybe like buy a VHS.
I remember. I was like in middle school and high school, because I remember in the 90s, I think, when I was in middle school, and I know in the early 2000s, I'd see it all the time.
That was like when Margera and those dudes would make their home, like the CKY videos.
Those were wild,
you just like buy them out of a skate mag or something.
Was it Big Brother, right? That was the first.
Oh, Big Brother's greatest.
That was the start of it, and it was like CKY then Jackass, right? Is that the timeline?
Something like that. Well, I think he was already doing CKY on the side, and then like Big Brother was just kind of like.
Oh, Big Brother was a company, right? A production.
It was a magazine.
Okay.
Skate mag, but.
In high school, Jackass was great, dude.
So good.
I would stay up late.
I'll never not love that stuff. It's that you want to talk about stuff that stands the test of time, dude. It's doing crazy stuff. It's just nuts what they did.
I would still do that shit as an adult right now.
I can't. I don't know how they did it, but
like the greatest night ever. Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. You knew some shit was gonna happen.
But
welcome to Jackass.
But yeah, I would just have to say it comes down to, honestly, good pitching and defense, and this probably leads a little bit into the Christian Javier SABR analytics conversation, where you talk about analytics versus romantics. And let me see if I can kind of like put the landscape out here on this topic for you. and then we can kind of discuss. Because I'm a romantic, and I kind of do get nuts when people talk exit velos and launch angles.
I'm
it
the
just
same
gets
way.
too much.
I'm the same way. Like when you love a player and they try to say, "Well, look at his stats," I don't care. Right? Is that what we're talking about? Kind of.
Well, there's that, but then there's like the flip side of me that understands. Like I can't be entirely negative because it's like, you make fun of something you don't know, right? Like I don't know all the advanced analytics as good as I should. So doing the SABR certification and educating myself in all these stuff these guys are looking at, like range factor and FIPS and these really advanced metrics for measuring players, once I understand it, then I can try to make that fit, or at least understand with my romantic argument that if somebody's throwing a World Series no-hitter with a 5-run lead, climb that mountain, man.
Yeah, because
I understand you're down 2-1 in the series, but I mean, there's just nothing. And I understand and that's where the analytics come about. It's like, but there's nothing in like baseball-y telling you like they can't touch this guy. If somebody's throwing a no-no and you take him out, and you're on the other team, you're like, oh, at least we'll have a chance against this reliever stuff because they can't hit this guy. So it's not even that horrible of an analytical decision. You're like leaving a guy who's dealing and he wants to give up the one hit. I saw an interesting tweet today. Don Larson also threw a one hitter and he got taken out in the 6th after his one hit.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about Don Larson. I just knew about his perfect game. But so that's kind of the Christian Javier and the SABR analytics thing and why I'm taking the course. But that is such a hot topic for baseball people on social media. We talk about this. It's like, okay, boomer, you don't understand how new baseball is or whatever. And I'm like, that's a interesting conversation to have because like baseball cannot be only and it isn't only math. I get it, but there's just like the sliding line on analytics, making all your decisions versus some gut calls. Or I like the way this, it's just like one of those things. You could tell me numbers, but I was like, I like the way he fouled that last pitch off. I like that hack. Yeah. He's going to get a hit, or you just don't like the way something is. So you're kind of like going with your gut. And there's actually a good TED Talk on going with your gut. So there's just like this intuition combined with analytics, and somewhere in there, I feel like you have to take the risk to let him throw that no-hitter.
My thing is like, if you're worried about that, it's like, it's the World Series, it's the last series of the season, just go with it,
Yeah, because if you don't take him out, I mean, I guess it's a 5-run lead. If you don't take him out and you blow the game, then everybody's going to be like, why? But nobody would ever actually say, like, why would you take out a guy? Like, it wouldn't even be a conversation we're having. Nobody would question the fact that you left him in.
Okay, like, to do that, yeah, leave him in if a guy gets on base and, okay, yeah. You're done. But, like, yeah, until he gets a hit.
Or if you, like, started walking a bunch of dudes, because you still have, like, but dude, you just walked 2. And I can't remember when they took him. Like, they took him out at an inning break. It wasn't like he was in trouble. So it's just.
Which I don't care what the player says. He was probably irritated about that.
I don't know. He seemed cool with it. I mean, he's got a ring. They got a World Series ring. I think they win that game if they leave him in until he gives up a hit. And so I'm firmly in the camp that Christian Javier should have gone.
Yeah.
I'm not protecting that. Like, if you're telling me as a pitcher, like, dude, I feel like I'm about to blow out my elbow, I think that's if you're like an overthrower. And Javier had good stuff. He's not like a 100 guy all the time. I think he looked real comfortable. Yeah, he's doing some work. There's a couple pitches where maybe he's falling off, and I thought fatigue was in there, but I was like, that's what a no-hitter is. You got to grind it out and suffer a little bit. It's not easy. That's why not that everybody has them.
Do you remember what inning it was? Because I don't remember.
I think he came out in the 6th.
Oh, dude.
And then you had I don't know if Abreu came in, and then I think Presley closed, but it was just like they kind of. Might have been like a 4-out save for Presley.
Presley's like a great closer.
That guy is really interesting closer because he's more of like a breaking off speed, mix him up guy as
I forgot what game it was, heat. But the Phillies were coming back and they put Presley and he just shut that shit down real quick. But
Presley's filthy. So
I always think of Elvis Presley when I hear that guy. I'm like, Elvis Presley. Yeah. And I'm sure he gets that all the time.
But
hey there, Elvis.
But that's the recipe because a lot of the big hitters for the Astros weren't like just going crazy on you like Jordan, So it really just came down to you look at a team that had really good defense. And I thought they had really good defense. You had great catching. And then you got because like Altuve wasn't really hitting and Yordan. Those are two big bats that you weren't really relying on to take the series 4 games to 2. It was pitching and good defense. So it comes down to that. But like an example that like sabermetrics and analytics is helpful is in the course they talked about like range factors. So like an old percentage is fielding percentage, right? How many chances do you get? How many chances did you complete without errors? So you get your like fielding percentages. But then there's like this thing called range factor. And they go, well, we need to look into like obviously if you're a better fielder with more range, you're going to get to more balls. And if you're getting to more balls, especially if they're like really hard, like wide rangey plays, you're probably going to make more errors. So we need to like look at how many more balls you get to. And so this range factor, and it's actually, I think, different for outfielders than it is for infielders. So they count for the fact that it's just not like this fielding percentage for a center fielder is a fielding percentage for a second baseman. And that level of advancement is intriguing to me. So I kind of do like the number crunch. And by taking this course, I think I'm going to be looking at some of these other really interesting sites. It has like Brooks Baseball. There's like all this Pitch FX and Hawkeye. There's all this data out there that you can kind of look at, because if I was going to tell, you know, the Tampa Bay Rays or the Mariners, you guys want to start racking up World Series trophies, I would say start looking, because
the Rays are this close, man.
Rays are there. But a lot of teams go for offense and bats. And obviously, everybody wants pitching. It's hard to get the pitching you really want to make that postseason run. You got to have them healthy, and everybody's got to be hot and dealing, and that's kind of how you get that World Series. You got that great pitching, but I really feel like defense. So, like, can you take, you know, we're just stealing players from Korean League and Japanese League. You can just like get these dudes because they want a Major League Baseball contract, but they're major leaguers, and you can look at that fielding, that range factor, because all those close games in the World Series, I mean, Mancini's place, like, comes down to maybe awesome fielding. It's the difference in a game, and that's the difference in the series.
Was it 2008 when we went to our first World Series? I think we had a great pitching staff.
Yeah,
we had Matt Garza, Price. We had Jimmy Hellickson.
Yeah, and
then we had, I forgot this other dude's name, but we had a great pitching staff that year. We had Carl Crawford. He was a great bat. We had B.J. Upton. Like we had a stud of a team, but
good ball club. But that's because the one thing it also says, this is an interesting course, is like, so, you know, you're familiar with like Moneyball, the movie, right?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
And like great. The book. So it's kind of like, you know, some of the teams are a little bit ahead of the curve, but once everybody caught up, like everybody's crunching the numbers now, the advantage kind of evaporates, and now it's just a matter of who's spending more to get the guys that they think are the most valuable. But then there's like that, maybe the gut in me, and there's probably like numbers guys, nope, you're actually right, that's how it works. I was like, dude, I think maybe the last bargains you can look for are guys whose batting or offense isn't maybe where you want it, but you start really looking hard at like defensive stats, and this guy's, man, that guy's a run stopper.
I think, too, with the advancement of those, it gives a lot of guys who would normally get a chance now to play.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't put up, like, a lot of RBIs and home runs, but he's got a really good average. He gets on base.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Yeah, like, if a guy walks a lot, but, like, what if you're, your pitching staff sucks because balls are just getting roped all over the park in the gaps, but you have these, like, amazing outfielders you're just constantly stealing hits, just taking away doubles in the gap. Like, that's a couple runs in a game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's fun to think about.
Yeah.
But that's my take on the World Series. Bregman broke his finger on the last play.
You know who was a great defensive, speaking of like analytics and shit, you know who was a great defensive player but had a shitty offense, unfortunately? It was Ray Ordonez.
Ray Ordonez?
From the Mets.
Yeah.
The guy was a defensive stud, but his offensive was terrible.
That's one of those. Maybe after this, I go back and look at Mario Mendoza, because everybody talks the Mendoza line.
Oh, what is it? Like a little over 200?
Yeah.
Like something like that.
But Mario Mendoza's Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame. The dude's name was Silk Hands. You want to talk about a nickname? The dude could glove a ball.
Nicknames. I love nicknames.
That's a good nickname, dude. The guy could pick up a ground ball. So, like, maybe it makes sense to, I mean, even at that time without analytics, they're like, dude, the guy's hitting 200, but got to have that glove at short.
I think it's okay to have like at least one or two guys on your team who suck at offense but can put up great defensive stats.
Yeah.
Because then you have the other guys that can, pick you up and stuff.
I'm gonna dig deep. I'm gonna dig deep with these advanced defensive statistics. But anyway, I digress. That's segment 1. Do you want to do some bump music while I into Vida Blue, perhaps?
Sure.
And I'll go get. Are you doing good? I'm gonna get some water, man.
I don't remember what numbers which. I'm just gonna pick a random number and go up.
Okay, I'm gonna go up on it and then go refill. Feel free to call into the show. There it is.
This is a nice riding in a town song.
Oh, this is one of these was like a Clint Eastwood, the Fistful of Dollars kind of. Oh, this is it too. That's nice.
Now we're gonna talk about Vida Blue. We're going to talk about, first of all, why he should be in the Hall of Fame in mine or both of ours opinion. We're going to talk about his his past habit with drug usage. been to jail a few times, that's for sure. But, yeah, Vida Blue's a great guy. Great pitcher. It's unfortunate that his drug usage kind of halted his Hall of Fame introduction. But he's technically in 2 Hall of Fames. The Athletics Hall of Fame and the Giants Hall of Fame. We'll definitely talk about him. He's one of my favorite players, for sure. But he played for 17 years. That's yeah.
Let's look at some Vida Blue baseball.
Because I don't know, I was just yesterday for some reason the name popped in my head and I was like, ooh, Vida Blue.
Let's go here. Dude, this is Vida Blue.
Turn it down.
Yeah, turn that one down, and then I can check. I can do this one. I can do. They do display capture. I can turn that on, and then I just go here back to Vida Blue, and everybody should be able to see that. Look at Vida Blue, man. My Lord, he was a Cy Young and MVP at the age of 21, 24-8 with Oakland.
Yeah, Yes, just an MVP, Cy Young, 3-time World Series champion.
That's crazy.
That's a cool stat line.
That very rarely happens, right? The pitcher gets the MVP.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like
they won the World Series in '71, didn't they? I think they did. 3-time World Series. Yeah, that's when they were just killing it. They were just killing it in Oakland. They had Reggie, all those dudes. Those numbers, man. Whip under 1.
You know my favorite stat of his?
The FIP is a new one. You're going to learn the FIP. The FIP is fielding independent pitching. This stat measures a pitcher's effectiveness at preventing home runs based on balls and hit by pitch. Only the stuff that he can control is what FIP is. So, nastiness.
You know my favorite stat of his? It's not like number stat or anything.
What's that?
Is that he started what do you call it? The All-Star game for both the National and American League.
That is pretty cool.
Because the Oakland A's and then the San Francisco Giants. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, man, they're putting mileage on these arms too. Look at these, it's like 280 innings pitched every year, 279. Dude was just 24-8, 6-10, and 20-9, 17-15, 22-11. Like even if he hated Charlie Finley, he couldn't. Even if he hated Charlie Finley, he couldn't suck. He's like, I want to suck because I hate my owner. But he couldn't do it. He was too good. He was too nasty. He won. No, he wouldn't. Didn't. Only won the one Cy Young. So then you trade him to Oakland. Stays in the Bay Area. It's the 18-game winner. Just filthy for the Giants. But you never see pictures of Vida Blue. I think he goes to Royals. And he gets 85 innings.
Oh yeah, 2 years he played for the Royals.
I don't know what they did with him in Kansas City. They didn't use him as a reliever or a star. He was 0-5. I guess that was it. Let's show minors on Vida. Age of 17. And where is Vida from? Vida,
Louisiana, I think, right?
DeSoto High School, Mansfield, Louisiana. And he went to Southern University at A&M in Baton Rouge. So there you go. Vida Blue, absolute filth. My understanding is extremely powerful fastball, but it wasn't a riser. It was a sinker.
Yeah.
Sinking fastball.
He kind of like when he threw it, kind of had his arm like way out there, like when he threw it. If you ever notice his pitching style.
Oh man, you get those old Oakland A's jerseys, you know.
Those are like some of the sweetest ones too. Those yellow and green.
You know what I'm saying? Like, You do. I don't know if you do like the window capture. You can't see the. I don't know. It's gonna show up. You can't do that. I can do the Vida Blue. There you go. Okay. Share that, but I can size it down. I'm covering you up. Remember that? There's like sleeveless. You know?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's a sweet. Right.
They're okay. I'm not a huge fan, but
I think that's cool. It looked really awesome with Reggie Jackson's guns.
There's a lot of players, yeah.
That's how it looked
like.
Like,
what was his name? The guy from the Reds, Puig, whatever. I think at one point they wore sleeveless jersey in here.
Yeah.
But
I got sideways with old Charlie Finley, and Charlie Finley apparently was not a fun guy.
It was a dispute.
There's a great quote. You'll like this, or Dutch. Blue endured a rocky relationship with Athletics owner Charlie Finley. After the 1976 season, he told reporters, "I hope the next breath Charlie Finley takes is his last." I hope he falls flat on his face and dies of polio. That dude hates you. And that's after the 76 season, so was that his last season, or did he have to go back and play after that? 76. Nope, he went back and played in 77.
Honestly, though, like, I think, like, that's what played part of his, like, contract issues.
Yeah.
This guy's like, I'm not going to pay you anything near what you want, right? Like, you don't like me, why would I pay you money?
It's a great quote. Absolutely hated Charlie Finley's
Vida Blue was
guts.
a badass, you know. He just said what he said what he felt.
Oh man!
But I know like a lot of his issues was like with drug usage and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what was it? I was looking up in '83. He was found with like 3 grams of cocaine.
I'll tell you what. If I was a Major League Baseball player in the '70s and '80s, I'd probably be doing cocaine.
I mean, it was like a thing. Everybody did. Like Doc Gooden, he was known for.
I could sit back and just. I didn't realize Vida Blue played all the way up until '86. Man. I bet I did. I think I might have a Vida Blue card, and I didn't realize who it was. He was at the end of his career, but
I just like to talk about players that aren't like talked about enough.
Yeah,
and Vida Blue should be.
Vida Blue is great. I don't know. Is he a Hall of Famer? He's got 10 years of service.
He's not a.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Not MLB Hall of Famer. He's okay. He's
just in. He's like he's a Lincecum style. You just have these power years.
Technically, he's in the Oakland A's Hall of Fame and the Giants Hall of Fame, but he's not in the baseball, like the main Hall of Fame.
This is when all these the stat nuts dig into it and tell me, Johan Santana and all these other guys that were so much better than are in. I don't know.
It wasn't.
But Vida Blue was.
That's the only thing that didn't get him in the Hall of Fame. I think is the drug usage and the fact that he was in jail or whatever for a little while, and he was been arrested a few times for DUI and stuff.
Man.
But like
Vida Blue.
I mean. I don't know if it matters, but he had over 2,000 strikeouts. I mean, that's a good. I think that's great.
That's an amazing.
He had over 3,000, innings pitched. That's awesome. He started. So his stats was he started he played in 502 games and he started 473 of those. I mean, that's like he has great stats, dude. I mean, 3-time World Series champion, MVP as a pitcher, a Cy Young Award, obviously. Like, come on, dude.
That is great. Do we know if he had any nicknames? Have you got his?
I couldn't find any nicknames.
Sometimes has nicknames if you go to the SABR bio, but I can't. Let me see if I can find the SABR bio.
I'm sure there was a nickname.
Everybody's got a nickname. Here we go. View player bio. Let's open that. But Vida Blue, and I can't remember if I read a book or where I had all that stuff. I feel like it might have been a Charlie Finley book. But yeah. Second round, offered a 2-year contract, signed for $12,500. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Some of these guys, it's the kind of like the J.R. Richard thing, back in the day, you would sign these dudes and they were in the minors, but I was like, God, what was that like to be 18 and you had to face J.R. Richard or Vida Blue? You're just like, I'm sure that happens in the minors, dudes. I played independent leagues, but let's say some scout got drunk and I got drafted. I think it would have been that moment where you're just some marginal college dudes like myself, where all of a sudden you're facing a J.R. Richard and a Vida Blue, and you're like, oh, is that what it's like at the major league level? Because I'm not gonna hit that. I'm
on this website, and this website's so dumb. So his name is Vida. His real name is Vida. Nickname Vida. That's not a nickname. That's his real name.
It's Vida. It's just a great name.
Like, I would just call this
If
dude
your name is
badass.
Vida, you don't really need a nickname. You should find Vida Blue, but that's a good little rabbit trail. I like if we're rabbit trailing on because we like to do that. Rabbit trail on random ball players. I'm just gonna throw in my miniature Billy Martin segment.
So on Twitter, I'm gonna get some stuff going.
Yep.
I'm gonna push for Vi to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame next time. I don't even know if he's still eligible, but
That's a good push.
I mean, he
Why
deserves it, man.
Give love. Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame.
The guy, he was playing for Seattle, right? That guy.
I don't know. I could look up Harold Baines, but Harold Baines was one of those dudes that people were like, dude, I don't know, man. He was a good ball player, but Hall of Fame? I know. Harold Baines was awesome.
But he played for the Mariners, right?
He's mainly with the White Sox, the way I remember.
Am I thinking of somebody else? Maybe. I don't know, but I think sometimes the Hall of Fame.
Thinking of Alvin Davis?
Nah, I don't know, man.
I'm just kidding.
But
Harold Baines he was a entire course Chicago White Sox. Nah, he went Texas, Rangers, Oakland, Baltimore, back to the White Sox, back to Baltimore, Cleveland, Baltimore, and then finished up with the White Sox at age 42.
I'm thinking of somebody else then.
384 homers, you know.
Sometimes the Baseball Hall of Fame is favoritism, though. Not favoritism, but like
I don't think it was the writers that voted him in. It was, I don't know, but
somebody did.
But Baines had a hell of a career, that's for sure. It wasn't a crazy like 30 or 40 home run guy, just a consistent professional hitter. But anyway, what can we say? So on the rabbit trail there, here's my player rabbit trail. So my investigative hunt for the sign stealing that occurred at Yankee Stadium. And for first-time viewers and first-time callers, if you did call, you would be the first caller in history, so that's probably going to get you in the Hall of Fame. But
you're in our Hall of Fame.
I didn't dream this up. Somewhere, and I swear it was a Billy Martin book, because the way I remember it being written was I didn't like, even if we were picking signs, I didn't like getting them because it messed up my bat. And I don't know why I thought it was Billy Martin. But the story was like the hitter was like, I didn't like it, but Mantle loved it. And I want to say it was like Stengel or whatever, but like had a dude in the outfield with binoculars, the white tennis shoes, 1 foot on the rail for fastball, 2 foot on the rail for curveball. And I was like, if I can find the book that I read that in, I maybe be able to tamp down some of this outrage on sign stealing. I'd be like, dude, you got a plan that you're going to get hosed when you're on the road and switch up your signs. But in my like investigative reporting, trying to find whichever baseball book it was I read it in, I got Jim Bouton's Ball 4 because that's kind of like a tell-all. And I was like, maybe it was in that one because I read that one years ago. And I think I've read both of Billy Martin's books, but this is like 20 years ago. He has like his first one, he's got number 1, and then he's got BillyBall. And then I got Whitey Ford's book, which is up here, Slick. And I think in the book Slick, if it's the same one I read, he does like explain how at the end of his career he's having like circulation problem and issues in his fingers feeling, and he cut the ball a little bit, but which isn't exactly legal. But
I'll try to cut you off, but you saw Harold Baines. I'm thinking of Harold Reynolds, this guy.
Oh, yeah, Harold Reynolds. Very different.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Are you sure? Okay.
I knew the guy who sold cell phones and like kitchen stuff to Harold Reynolds.
That's the guy I was thinking. I was like, wait.
No, totally different dude.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute. I know.
So that's my investigative project on this Yankee Stadium sign stealing that happened like probably in the 60s or some point.
Yeah, he did play for Seattle. Okay, so I was right.
But I get into the Billy Martin books, and Billy Martin was a good player. And Billy Martin, I believe, if I could find his baseball, I got his baseball reference up here, was number 1 for the Yanks. He was number 12, and then he was number 1. And I don't know the way they hand out the numbers in New York, but like almost all the single digits are retired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you get something low, you know, like Jeter got 2, if you get a low number, or like Gardner, like got 11, if you get something low, I think that's like always been to me like an indicator. I mean, you could pick any number you want, obviously, but there's only so many low ones left. And if you get one low, then I think they're pretty high on you. I think they're really high on Gardner forever, and he's a Yankee for life. But Martin, Martin was a great Yankee, but the thing about Billy Martin was he was awesome in the postseason. Like, he was a World Series MVP. So he was a second baseman scrapper, but super-duper clutch in the postseason. If I can find his postseason batting. This is in 5 World Series. So basically, I think they won. They won 4 of those World Series. He batted 500 in one of those World Series, in the 1953 World Series. I think he was the MVP, and he's a second baseman. He didn't really hit that many homers. He hit 2 homers, 2 triples, a double, 8 RBIs as second baseman, stolen base, 12 hits and 24 plate appearances and 5 runs. And he made some great plays in the field. So it's like Billy Martin, I was more of a manager guy in my lifetime, and he was a fiery one at that. But great player if you go back and look at Billy Martin's career.
Managers don't get any better than Lou Piniella and then Earl Weaver.
Well, Billy was the same. He's the guy that got George Brett thrown out of the game when he did the pine tar bat incident. Remember?
Oh, dude, that was like he was like that was the one where he's like pointing.
That was Billy.
Pissed off.
I tell you that story because Billy Martin was gonna do that.
Was he also like a comedian at some point?
Billy Martin? I doubt it. He was getting in fights left and right.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's.
I get my names all kind of mixed up, man. I was like, I thought Billy Martin was known in the clubhouse as being like a funny comedian guy.
No, man. Billy Martin was a hard ass.
I don't know, dude. My name's all fucked up.
That's okay. That's the best part about you and your baseball fandom is like nobody has to be an expert to enjoy baseball. Nah. Just ask questions, and that's how we all learn stuff. But Billy Martin would fight his players. He'd fight fans. He was just getting into trouble.
I like that kind of personality, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
He's
because I just get tired of the generic answers. We just lost to a better team. Like, come on, man. Be honest. Like, say no.
In this politically correct day and age, Billy Martin would have been fired again. He got fired by Steinbrenner so many times,
absolutely.
But he would probably be punching members of the press and everything else.
It's about as bad as Ozzie Guillen, the White Sox.
But I guarantee you this: I bet if Billy Martin was managing the Yanks the last 10 years, they'd have at least 2 or 3 world titles because Billy Martin could manage that guy.
Sometimes you need a nice, strict guy
You need a hard ass in there.
You don't need a guy like, okay, come on, guys, we can do better. Like, no, yell at people, get mad, throw something.
But yeah, Billy Martin in the George Brett bat incident he had that. Like, that's how good of a manager he was. He saw that and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to use that against Brett, but I ain't going to just wait till he like strikes out or hits a single. I'm going to wait till it's a really crucial home run.
Critical moment.
Like a critical moment that screws us. And that's why it happened at Yankee Stadium when he hit that bomb. Billy Martin's like, yeah, check that bat now. So he's just saving it. He's saving it the whole season.
I think it's fucking awesome. Just wait for the right moment.
It's Billy Martin for you. But great player. Probably underrated. But again, much like Vida Blue, issues with management. The dude who was like the GM at the time freaking hated Billy Martin. They hated him.
They don't, managers or owners or whatever don't like when people stand up to him. That's all it is.
Well, he stood up to him because I guess his rookie year he got like sent back down to AAA or something like that.
I pay for you to be here. You're my employee. How dare you?
It was, and this is actually kind of interesting. So like when you read Bobby Valentine's book, Walter Alston was the manager of the Dodgers when Billy Valentine was, Bobby Valentine was drafted by the Dodgers, and Lasorda was like kind of this minor league manager who was like moving up and eventually became the manager of the Dodgers. But Walter Alston and a lot of the Dodgers dudes didn't like Lasorda. They couldn't stand him. They didn't like the way he was so gregarious or outspoken or whatever. And so they, therefore, did not like Lasorda's guys. And so Alston freaking hated Bobby Valentine. Hated him. So you go up to the pros and you're playing for a manager that hates your guts. Like he just shit all over Bobby Valentine the entire time. And so like the Bobby Valentine book gives you this like kind of inside political look on what the dudes on the field are dealing with, the infighting between ownership and managers. And that was actually happening on the Yankees because Stengel came over from the A's and the general manager just liked, it's kind of like the Brian Cashman thing that people talk about in New York now. It's like these GMs, they draft their guys and they fall in love. Like, I love this guy. I love that I picked him, and they got their guys. But Stengel, like Billy Martin, was drafted by the A's, and Stengel came over and he said, you got to get this guy. You got to bring over Billy Martin. So he wasn't like a Yankee guy. He's one of the Stengel's guys, and Stengel was getting sideways with the GM. They didn't like each other, and so that general manager hated Billy Martin, and he looked for every reason. He couldn't wait to get rid of Billy Martin because they also thought he was a bad influence on Mickey Mantle. But Mickey Mantle liked to party. What are you gonna do?
Can't stop a party.
You got to party with Whitey Ford and Billy Martin. You're gonna party. What you gonna do? Go to the Copacabana Club. Get in a fist fight. Why not?
I just wish baseball players were more like that nowadays, man. Just getting drunk all the time, fighting people.
Yeah.
Now you got to be super careful, because social media, unfortunately. But
I don't know. Doesn't Jay-Z have like a kick-ass club in New York or something, like the 50-50 Club?
I would assume, yeah.
I hope the Yankees are going there and just doing it Mickey Mantle style.
Fighting people?
Well, just go. You win a game, you're a Yankee. Go party it up. Like Mantle and Billy Martin and Whitey Ford would want you to go out and live it up.
You don't say no. You don't say no.
While you're a young baseball player in New York.
Come on, it'll be fun.
But who partied it up was those old '86 Mets. But
oh my God,
that's a good documentary. Once Upon a Time in Queens.
It was on that 30 for 30 ESPN one.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna bump music into the winter leagues, and for those people who think it's over, it ain't over, folks. Baseball has just begun.
365 days a year, baseball.
I'll let you pick any button in there. I don't really even know what we got for bumper as we get into winter league action.
We'll go with that one.
That one right there?
There we go. Okay.
That's some bumper. Some
I
Western.
know we assign these tracks, but we never keep track of which is which.
I just know the banjo one I put at number 1 because that was the opener. But baseball isn't over by a long shot, folks. It's wherever you want to look, you can find it. And I was looking at the Dominican leagues today.
Shit.
And Henry Urrutia of your Saltillo Saraperos hit 420, dude. Not like 401, not 398, like well over 400 in what is basically 4A baseball. That's crazy. I
think MLB needs to really start going to the other leagues and scout players.
I mean, they do. I mean, his is his age, I think that's why he's not getting touched, but I don't know.
They need to really look deeper into these leagues.
Urrutia's on fire. It wasn't like his numbers don't. It's like he's getting better. He's a wiser hitter with his old age. He's a big dude. He's like 6'5".
I think you could bring him up maybe for a year or two, see what he does, right? I know he's older.
He would be like a guy on the bench because he's a pretty big guy. I think he plays first base. I could see him getting a contract even at his advanced age of 36.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could still be serviceable at that age.
But and then he played for Saltillo in 21 too. 5 teams. He played for the Dominican League and the Caribbean Series. I think that's the. Caribbean Series. Overall in 2021, the dude hit 346.
The least that you could do is bring him up if he doesn't play well, send him back to the league, right?
352 in 20. I guess he was out of. Man, dude can hit. Henry Urrutia, man, what a season. 420 any league is crazy, but that's some really good pitching.
But like I was saying, you could bring him up if he doesn't do well. He just goes back. It doesn't hurt to try.
You need a professional at bat, but I think he's a Cuban like Gurriel. So 6'5", 200. But he did get to the show. He got a cup of coffee with the Baltimore Orioles, and
there we go.
That was back when he was in his 20s. He was like a prospect.
That was years ago. He's 36, right? You said
he was 28. He got 10 games with Baltimore.
Okay.
And then when he was 26, he got 24 games with Baltimore. But anyway, that leads me into the fact that I found him popping up. So he's like, I'm going to play for Saltillo. But the winter's here, so I'm just go down to Lidom. And I forget which team he's on, but you can go Lidom, and Google translates. where did I see the stats?
Hey, Roberto Clemente.
Yeah, they will translate the winner statistics right here. But they'll translate it all into English for you, so you can look at.
Yeah, because I'd be lost if I couldn't translate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to work on my Spanish, but Henry Urrutia's right at the top of the league. So you got that. Then you could go over. You want to go to one of your favorites, Roberto Clemente.
Oh, dude's a legend.
This is the Winter League in the Winter League, of course. Here's the Winter League in Puerto Rico. So let's go here, and you've got the. Where did my Roberto Clemente leagues go? Is this maybe I started with that one? Had all my tabs going. Nope. This is all Lightem. I had so many Lightem stats.
Like between him and like Jackie Robinson, those are probably one of my two favorites of like all time.
Clemente was greatness. I don't know.
You know, Jackie Robinson obviously was a stud. Broke the color barrier. That was kind of cool. Obviously.
But that's that.
You have a lot of tabs open, man.
I always do. As I try to look at. I guess I'll just open up the Roberto Clemente League because they got some cool teams down there, and it's easy to fly in. It's like I would love to go to the.
And it's not. It wouldn't be that long of a flight. It wouldn't be long, but it wouldn't be like terrible.
It's not. It's like flying to Florida. Really.
I had some friend. I had a friend that lived in he was from Puerto Rico, in Dallas, where I lived.
Yeah.
But he would go there all the time. So I mean, it's very doable.
Yeah, no, and they got a stadium right there. I think it's Santo Domingo, but I don't want to. And thank you. I do want that in English.
And they get people from other countries all the time.
I guess this is the Puerto Rican League. So I had the stats down there, but they got if you go to the teams, because they don't have like these. It can't be like Major League Baseball. You have like tons of teams, right? So you got to go.
Honestly, dude, that'd be a cool ass documentary for us to film. Like our trip there. And
Caguas, and I won't say it right. Caguas Creoles. You got the Mayagüez Indians, the Santurce Crabbers, Carolina Giants, and then the Raw 12. I'm not sure what that is, and then the Ponce Lions. But some of those have been there forever. But interestingly, there's enough stadiums around, pretty big stadiums in Puerto Rico, that they'll move around. So it's not like the Yankees are just there forever. There's actually been some moving in these winter leagues. And same thing with Lightem. So if you want to get your fix, I know in Lightem, if I can find it here, one of these teams, the Licey Tigers, straight up stream their games on YouTube.
There you go.
So if you're just trying to if you want to check out some baseball, just go down there. And of course, this is our time zone essentially. So it's going to be in the evening. Throw on a YouTube game, and there's pros. There's all these dudes down there, all these major leaguers. Jake Arrieta's down there. I saw he's in Lightem. I don't know who else. You got to look at all the other teams' rosters, but
I'm sure there's quite a few ex-MLB players.
The stream makes it huge. I think a lot of it just has to do with connections and coaches and scouting.
I wonder if any current like MLB players play winter leagues. Probably not.
It's interesting how that works.
That'd be cool.
I don't know exactly how it works. For baseball nuts. Like I think some of it's like if you're maybe I need to recoup. It's a hard, long 162 game season. Or you got a family. They're like, dude, come on, man. I don't see you all year. And now you're going to take off for another 3 months. Like how hard is that?
I'm pretty sure in their like MLB players don't, because in their contract they don't want the teams don't want them going down there to possibly get hurt or something. Probably.
Yeah, but sometimes they send dudes down there for development.
Yeah.
Or they did back in the old days, just get them the time. And they could make money down there. Bobby Valentine made more in the Dominican with the gambling owners than he did on his Dodgers contract.
Do you think it's like due to the fact that he was in the MLB? So he's like a superstar, I guess, maybe, or something?
Well, I forget how it goes, because like I think for the coaches, and Tommy Lasorda was awesome, developing talent everywhere. But I mean, Lasorda was a coach in the Dominican League, so they're just like probably scouting guys down there, get more baseball in. But
it's just cool to see like all these different leagues that exist.
There's so many. Once you look, we were talking the other day, there's that Californian Winter League. If you don't want to travel,
so I feel like if you want to be a baseball player for life, there's no reason, because there's so many leagues that you can play in. So like, there's no reason to say, "Oh, I can't make it to the pros." Like, well, dude, there's so many other leagues.
Well, these dudes are basically so good. I mean, I'd have never made it in any of these leagues. I mean, these guys
That's
are
what I'm saying.
AAA,
Like,
4A, but for guys that are
leagues.
still fighting, it's such good baseball, you know?
Yeah.
You got the Liga Mexicana Pacifica, and then you've got Venezuela's got a great league. You just have the political situation in Venezuela. You got to deal with Colombian winter leagues. I mean, it just goes and goes.
Especially like if you're based out of the United States, Mexico is not that far for you.
Yeah.
So like you can go back and forth.
And then wrapping up abroad, you got the KBO Series is over.
It's done.
The SSG Landers, which used to be the SK Wyvern, if I'm saying that right. SK Wyvern?
I feel like I need to be on your level of knowledge with all these other leagues.
Well, no, I'm really getting into it because I'm so angry at MLB.
Because, to me, I know you love the Japan leagues, but to me, I'm fascinated with the Mexico leagues.
Mexican leagues are the best.
Just because, the culture is awesome, the people are awesome, so everything about that is just, draws me in more, but...
I would say one huge advantage probably of getting well-versed in the winter leagues is I feel like that's just going to lead to the funnest vacation ever.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Am I right?
Because, you're going on vacation, where are you going? I'm going to go to Winter League in Japan or something.
Like, fall baseball is romantic. We just had the World Series and all that. But what about, I was like, man, I'm going to lay on the beach, and then catch a baseball game tonight, right?
Lay on the beach. Not a beach guy, but it'd be cool to definitely go to another country and watch baseball. I
realize the Fed is trying to destroy the U.S. dollar, but even on those vacations, a lot of those countries, you're still getting a lot of mileage with the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of people who have homes in Mexico and work here too.
Yeah.
They take the money back home and they're fucking millionaires.
You're a baller.
Yeah. I had a friend who I worked with in Dallas. He had 2 houses in Mexico and 6 cars, and he always showed me these pictures. I'm like, dude, how do you afford that? He goes, dude, because my money in Mexico is worth so much more.
My buddy,
I'm a baller down there.
Shout out to the Let's Get To podcast. I just want to say this because this is a random lead into a very story just like that. He did a cool Veterans Day show and had me on, so thank you for that. But he was he was in the Army. He was a forward observer, which for those who don't know, the forward observer is the guy who calls for artillery fire. So the artillery guns are miles behind you, and they're shooting a huge projectile over your heads and then landing on the enemy. But you got to have somebody way up there at the front with the infantry who's this is where I want you to shoot it, this coordinate. So you're helping line it in and call it onto the ground from guns that are miles away.
So you're essentially the spotter with the sniper?
Yeah, he's like a spotter for artillery.
Is that what they're called?
Well, yeah, spotter and a sniper, same kind of thing, but they're different. They're usually there together. But the artillery, and that's what the Let's Get To James Christopher Jim, that's what he did in the Army. So thank you for your service. But my forward observer in the Marine Corps, we just stayed fast friends, best of buddies after our service time, and he lived in Montana and had a ranch. And on his ranch was Tomas. He was this Peruvian dude. That's what he did. He just helped him do the irrigation for the ditches for the cows, move the cows from field to field grazing, did all this stuff. And Alex finally went to Peru to visit him. It's a baller lifestyle. 2 houses, girlfriends, wives.
And where was this house at?
I was in Lima or something. This dude was just, he was living in a parked RV at the ranch,
That's probably why he did it, because he
super humble guy, hard worker. But they had him back every year on the work visa, and he worked at that ranch for 15, 20 years. I think he became a nationalized citizen. But if you went and visited Tomas in Peru, baller. Guy's balling out of control down there. So that's what I'm saying. And another thing, I could go to, I'd love to go to Korea, Japan, and Okinawa spring training and do all that stuff. But, man, that's a flight, dude. That's a haul. But San Antonio to Mexico City or to Monterey, bam. Monterey's got an LMP team, so that's winter ball. But, I don't know what the flight is to the Dominican, so you can get around to these winter leagues.
I wouldn't mind sitting on a plane for a while.
Make a point. I think that'd be a fun trip. I think that'd be a fun, whatever these guys vlogging, showing your little trip, and you can dream that you were on
That'd be sick. I would love to do something like that.
Little video vlog for the weekend.
Make a little mini documentary.
A little mini documentary. Go see some games. We got to work on our Spanish, so I really need to work on that. I've been looking for Spanish tutors. But
it's definitely tough because like when you speak Spanish versus Mexican Spanish, which is like totally different. So you're like, okay, well, I wonder what they speak here. You know.
I finally broke down and got a haircut. You see that?
No.
Okay, because it was getting out of control before, but
like I noticed your hair was shorter, but I didn't see when you actually did it.
But that helps because I went to a barbershop and I go to the Land of Barbershop is awesome, but it really helps with my Spanish speaking because most of the barbers don't really, it's not their first language, so we communicate and get my haircut done and I'll work on my.
For me, it's always like, how do you say this word?
Espanol.
How do you say haircut? How do you say whatever?
But that's the Winter Leagues, and then the wrap up is KBO Series SSG Landers, who have a UFO as their. I mean, does that make you there? Like, do you have a KBO team? Have you made a pick? Like
no.
Saltillo,
no.
For the Mexican leagues?
If I was to go off a team, I would just look at their team names and logos and be like, okay, that looks cool. That's who it is.
That's probably crazy fun because, like, there's a lot of.
I'm trying to think. We were talking about it, and I remember there was one. I think it might have been the aliens. I don't remember. Or the one with the spaceship, whatever.
Right. Because I'm like the worst MLB fan.
But I also like if I pick a team, I don't want them to be the best because then that's just like easy to root for.
It's like bandwagon.
Yeah, it's like who's like a shitty team that.
It's kind of one of those ones like I follow a lot of United Kingdom UK like baseball dudes on Twitter, and I think that's like the reverse.
Are you talking about KBO or KPO?
No, KBO. But the point I'm making is like,
oh yeah, the Lions,
it's like you know how like
Bears.
people in the States are kind of like getting into Premier League
soccer.
Well, you're not from Liverpool. You're just like I'm going to straight up pick a team for some reason. You're looking for a reason, and you just get a pick. So it's kind of like fun. It's like Halloween candy or something. It's like I'm just picking.
This manager's got a cool name. That's my team.
Yeah. So like I like the Chunichi Dragons. But like,
okay, I'm on a different website because this one shows the Lions, the Bears. This is not
Doosan Bears. Yeah, that's it.
This is the right league.
Yeah.
Because I don't see.
If you see the Doosan Bears.
Because I don't see the Dragons that you're talking about.
Oh, the Landers, SSG Landers.
It only shows like 10 teams here.
Yeah, I'd have to pull it, but they're in Incheon. And they just rebranded because a different corporation bought them. But I was like, man, if you really look at all the leagues we're talking about, like Venezuela and Dominican, there's so many times you could just get to pick. I don't really pick, but I mean, just get as many jerseys and as much baseball as you can.
I don't pick. I just like them all.
But, yeah, there's a lot of cool names, cool teams out there, but I thought it was hilarious. There's actually a good article I tweeted out today. I don't know if I can find that guy's article, but it was on the name. Nah, that's not it.
You know what?
It was on the silly names on how they come up with.
This is so shitty that there was a team called the Unicorns, man. They're defunct now, but man, that would have been my spot. That would have been my team.
SSG Landers.
The Unicorns.
Yeah, that was the Landers. That was like no. Where was that? I'm gonna have to go here. Let me find the.
I do like this Bears team name, but I don't know if that's who I'm gonna root for, honestly.
Let's see here. If I can find this article I tweeted out, because this was a cool article. This guy talked about where is it? Nope. Oh, there's a bunt triple play. I tweeted that out.
That's a funny name, Landers. Like they're landing? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, and he's in this article, and I want to give the author credit here. Because he does this whole thing. The guy's name is Jim Bully. He writes for, Korea Jung-ang Daily. Jim Bully does. But he's talking about the SSG Landers just named, and he talks about all the different funny names they've had before they were the SK Wyverns. But there's all these team names in the KBO that aren't around anymore. Look at this logo. I'm going to have to do this screen capture. It's like a superhero in blue underpants.
That would have been fucking
cool. You like
cool
that?
I mean, it's not as cool as the Unicorns, but
nope,
like
I don't want that one.
It's way different than you would find like here in the States.
I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's this dude's this guy's in blue underpants. But they had KBO. They're like other teams. So there was the Sammy Superstars, the Chungbo Pintos, the Pyongyang Dolphins, and the Hyundai Unicorns. So
that's the one right there, the Unicorns.
The Unicorns?
That would have been my team, man, but they went defunct. So
the New Braunfels, that's what they went for there for their high school. But yeah,
New Braunfels, the one like the city here.
Yeah, the New Braunfels High School is the Unicorns.
Dude, that's sweet. I actually like unicorns, man. If you look on my computer desk at home,
it's very mystical.
You'll see quite a few unicorns.
The SK Wyverns are like, there's like the KT Wiz. The KT Wiz is a KBO team, which is after Wizards.
Oh, okay. KT
it's after
Wiz.
Wizards. But
you
can also, the Wiz Kids. But a lot of fun once you get into it.
Remember the Minnesota Viking player back in the day he passed the piss test, but it's called the Wiznator?
The Wiznator test.
Yeah.
Get the fake dong and just squirt some pee in there.
It's like, oh, you passed.
Don't get me started on whiz tests with all that Veterans Day stuff, man. I had the piss testinist battalion in the Marine Corps.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh my gosh.
It's
outrageous. Piss testing us 3 times a week.
I got one time at work, I got randomly drug tested.
Yeah.
And it was like, they said it was random, but because I joke a lot about doing drugs, which I clearly don't, I think someone took me seriously and told somebody. Because it was like, that was the only time I ever got drug tested. I was like, how is this random? Like, how do you randomly pick me? I haven't done anything to make you assume anything. So I don't know. It was weird, but okay.
So, yep, you got the Japan Series is over. Oryx Buffaloes took that down. Now you got SSG Landers wins KBO. And in the Taiwanese League, the CPBL, the CTBC Brothers, who I think are essentially like the Yankees over there of the Taiwanese League, just swept. And they got a ton of fans on Twitter, so there's your across the board. But the Australians are playing the Japanese, maybe right now somewhere, streaming. If you want to watch some, it's for some reason I don't think it's related to the World Baseball Classic. It's like the Samurai Series. I don't really
Samurai.
It's cool. I mean, like Roki Sasaki, the phenom, he's pitching the 10th game, which is maybe happening right now with the time difference, but should be some good baseball. So if you're a baseball fan, start going into the rabbit holes, as I like to say. You know,
there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot. I've done a lot of rabbit holes. I don't know what else have we talked about.
I mean, I'm
philosophical
pretty sure
divide.
If you wanted to get to rabbit holes, you could find a lot of information about us too out there on the internet.
Yeah,
it exists. Like some of the stuff I was talking about, like back in 2010, 2011. I look at it now, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'd say that now.
Yeah.
I said some stupid ass shit back then. But
I've said so many stupid things and tweeted so many stupid things that it's just is what it is, man.
Sometimes you just whatever. Like you can't really get.
Have we even checked our sound on
on
YouTube? We have like no sound on YouTube.
Hold
possibly.
On.
It's been a silent show the entire time. I can't be sure.
Information about us too.
Nope, there it is.
It exists.
All right. Well, there you go. And we're still recording an audition, so there you go.
We sound pretty solid, honestly.
I think we sound solid. You never know.
To me, I could care less how it looks. As long as it sounds good, that's all. That should be the main thing. You know? Because if it looks badass but it sounds like shit, you're not going to really listen, right?
One day that phone will ring. By the time it rings, we'll have the red phone, though.
And it'll be so crisp and clear. People are like, dude, that's cool.
I thought we would actually get a call because people would be like so surprised, you know?
I had a feeling
these dudes actually put their flipping phone number up there.
Like I said, I just want some random person we've never even spoke to or even know just to call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll tell you what, man. How dare you? Like, hold on now.
Is there like a Saber hotline? Maybe I can call somebody from that phone and just talk to them about baseball. No.
Like, this is 1987. What up? But no.
But
one day. Soon.
I don't know, bud. That's all I got today. It's a shorter show, maybe.
You know what you should do?
What's that?
Take this number and do for a good time call.
For a good time call? We'll do that?
Like at a Burger King
Yeah, we should start writing that number all over bathrooms.
For a good time, call this. And ask for some random girl's name. Ask for Kimberly.
Something. See who calls it. They'll call into the show looking for a good time. I don't know if... that's what we were laughing earlier. The 69 Mega would be a sponsor. Just call them.
What? Honestly, dude, that would be so wild. It's like, oh, how's your podcast going? Well, we got sponsored. Oh, sweet. This is porn website.
You should check this website out. It's not really family friendly.
But I mean, if you're into like porn, 69mega.com.
They're always in our chat.
I know they're listening. I know they are.
There has to be, or is it a bot? You think it's a bot?
It's
or definitely it's really just some guy who smut posts and he likes, because wasn't it a German? It was like a German thing before.
It's definitely a bot.
Yeah.
But somebody has a program that bot, right? So I know you're listening. We love your work. Very. Hook us up. You know, we'd love to be a sponsor by you guys.
We need a sponsor of something. So, I don't know. We could give old Jim a call. Or Jimmy a call, but I don't know.
Don't know what he's doing. He's
a busy man, and I don't ever coordinate. I never give him a heads up on when we're actually doing it, because we don't actually know when we're doing the show.
Especially right now with you getting close to having a baby and doctor's appointments and stuff.
Outroing, yeah. Once the kid's here, all bets are off. So this is a wild time. We got to cut the show, but this is the World Series wrap up, and for people not to fret, baseball is out there. Just have fun looking for all the different ones.
You know, during when you had the child, if anything, Teddy Ballgame can fill in for you.
Teddy Ballgame can sit up here.
So this is the co-host, Teddy.
Well, Liam, when I did the Veterans Day thing with the Let's Get To, Liam was over here drawing pictures, and he walks right into the interview and goes, I don't know how to draw a dragon.
That's so funny, dude.
This is after I prepped him like 700 times. It's like, dude, I'm doing a thing. I just need you to sit there and draw and not, like, walk.
What was it? Look, man, draw something you know.
That's what I was. I was like, it's like, at least they'll get how bad of a father I am. But he's like, I'll edit that out. So
you know what would have been fucked up? I would never do it. But like, if I would have went on, like, yeah, I was a veteran too. No way. I would have never.
The stolen valor.
That is like the worst thing.
Ultimate sin.
That is the worst thing a human being could do, is say. And like, those videos are funny. Like, no, man. Like, okay, well.
It's sad that dudes do it, because I've seen a few videos on YouTube of these stolen valor guys.
I've seen so many of them.
And I was like, first thing, stolen valor guys usually go way too hard.
Yeah.
They're like the amount of shit that they're wearing at awards, and their story is like.
Someone's like, I was in the military for like 40 years. There's no way
they were like on
awards.
secret. There was always some crazy shit, like they were on secret missions and they were a SEAL. They go way too hard, but I guess I kind of understand it, because it wouldn't make sense to, like, if you're gonna be a stolen valor guy, get all the cool shit and then be like, I was just in for like 3 years. I was a Lance Corporal and I worked in logistics. Not that that's not the most awesome Marine job ever. Lagos, we love you, but you know, just some kind of like nondescript thing. That's not.
Here's
the stolen valor guys go hard.
Here's the funniest thing. It's not the amount of awards that they have or the outfit. It's when they're in the outfit and they have tennis shoes on.
They always fuck it up. Like you can look at, like, you can always tell something's off.
And people. And people get mad, like, oh, don't you be so aggressive to them? Yes, you do. Like, that's like impersonating a cop or something.
It's sad. I don't really get it. Maybe when I was younger, I got angry about it, but now I was like sad. But what they don't realize is, like, anybody who's ever served in the military, and especially your branch, like the Marine Corps, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if I go see A Few Good Men.
Oh, the movie.
Like, you couldn't watch the movie with me if I was going to talk about all the little things that weren't exactly how it should be in the Marine Corps.
You
know what I'm saying?
Everything.
Yeah, you can tell all the difference of the stuff. So, like, the stolen valor guys don't have that level of awareness, and so when they throw their shit on and like try to show up to like some rally or whatever they think they're going to get, I don't know why they do it, but like, let's say they think they're going to get something fun out of it, and somebody's going to pat them on the back. Every veteran that like walks by him in that branch of service is like, dude, what the fuck is that? They don't realize where they fucked up, but
that'd be one thing. I'd be nervous. I can never do it. I'd be so nervous.
It's not about that. It's about the people who served, and you know, Veterans Day is a fun one, and we appreciate all the love.
I just think it's funny. Like, what was your rank or your whatever number, your branch number? This, like, that doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. I was a Secret Service.
Oh, they try to defend it. I haven't seen.
Like, I was on missions for this and that.
Oh, secret.
Like, there was a guy I worked with too one time. I got a lot of work stories because I worked, you know, for like in retail, and you always get retail always has the most weirdest people. But there was a guy who was like worked at Target, and he was like, he would unload the trucks, and he would always get so high and pass out. But we're like, so what do you do in the service? Oh, I was a secret like sniper, whatever person.
Everybody was a sniper, right?
We're like, well, if you were used to that, how are you passing out in a truck? I don't understand.
I don't know.
He's like, yeah, I was with the Secret Service. We're like, okay,
I've heard
buddy.
some stories, some dudes that I thought were pretty suspicious, and I was like, dude, I don't care if that's what you got to do. But
it's
anyway,
just, they make like if you're gonna make up a story, don't make it fucking so outrageous.
I'm saying if you don't get drafted, join the service. That's what I'm saying. I put my Marine Corps logo up. Can I do that? I think I do that in OBS. Let's put up the Marines.
I see your hat every time I come in here. Your little. I don't know what the proper name for that hat is. If it has a name, or if it's just uniform hat, I don't know.
That's that one.
One thing I do want to know is, like, this isn't funny, like, haha, but like, why the hats are so like, why people like they wear them like slightly on their head, the style.
Yeah.
Like, why that's a style. Like the hats look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did I ever explain that? The reason? Because they look always small when they wear them. You know, they barely wear them on top of their head.
Oh, it's barely perched on top of their head.
Yeah, I always wondered why that's the style they wear.
Yeah, if you try to pull your and it's not called a hat in the Marine Corps, it's a cover.
A cover.
If you try to pull your cover down like the back of your scalp,
like
a baseball cap, you'll get absolutely reamed.
Is there a reason for that, or
it's just tradition, I believe. But if you did, you just call that person nasty. Yeah, you're nasty.
I was just always wondering why that was a thing. I just was curious.
Marine Corps logo. There it is. Bam.
Jimmy John's. I saw Jimmy John's.
Put Jimmy John's. Well, we got the. There we go, folks.
We love you, Jimmy John's.
The Marines in there.
Is that the Few the Proud? Is that the one, the Marines?
Yeah.
Is that their slogan?
Unofficial sponsor right there. Love the Corps. Put that in for our outro. But yeah, no, Veteran Day is nice. People get confused sometimes with Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for the heroes that did not make it back home. So that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Veterans Day is for the rest of us schmoes. We did our time. Love America. That's all good to go. A little pat on the back's nice, but get back to work. I would just say this about one thing about veterans. There's a lot of veterans out there playing the PTSD card that really didn't see a whole lot of shit, and they're just trying to get the handout. And I personally don't like that.
There was a guy who was like that. Another who I work with guy, but he was like, "You need to respect me because I was in the service." I'm like, "That's not how that goes."
That's not how that goes, dude.
I was like, "Okay, what did you do exactly?" He goes, "Oh, I was in charge of like counts and stuff."
Being a veteran's the sweetest gig ever. I got the flippin' GI Bill. They stand up and clap for you when you go to missions games. Everybody's super nice to you. You get all this from the VA. I
discounts.
Got whatever, like IEDs and artillery fire. I get like $130-something a check a month for my 10% disability, which I probably don't even. It's just like
my father-in-law was in the Navy for a while.
But once the dudes get the maxed out disability, which some dudes rate it, but the thing is, then they don't work because you lose disability if you work. So you're kind of like incentivizing, like, well, just sit on your ass. And I was like, I don't know, I mean, for the dudes that rate, you took a sniper round through the neck or whatever. Like, dude, there's guys out there, but there's other guys that are probably doing that, and they're just, they snap back into society and grind. So
I was never in the service.
I digress. I get too much. I'm very passionate about the veteran community, and thank you all for your service.
I was never in the service. I really can't speak on this, but I feel like if you're gonna talk shit, you can't talk shit on the same level as someone who actually saw battle and you just sat in the office and did inventory, right?
No, I mean, like if you're gonna, most guys probably. I'm in the kind don't talk shit, but I would just say we need those dudes. And I mean, some of those dudes got gigs they didn't want. Maybe they wanted to be on the front lines. Like, dude, we still need people in admin, so you got to do that shit too. And in the Marine Corps, every Marine are riflemen. So I guarantee all the dudes that are typing up my fucking leave papers, grab an M16 and go stick a bayonet in your gut if you're ISIL.
I will say, like, doing anything in the service is scary. Like, I couldn't imagine being on the field. That'd be the scariest thing ever. Is like actually being like part of the battle. Because you were part of the battle too, right?
What's that?
You were part of the battle too, right? You actually shot and shit.
I discharged my weapon once on the invasion.
But like, you actually like faced combat, is what I'm saying.
Well, I took fire on the invasion.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that was a concerted firefight. Ramadi was different. We had some big firefights there.
But still, that's
one of them
scary.
where I was out, but like I never had like, because you're shooting in a city. I didn't have positive ID.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to shoot into that building and hit a 6-year-old. So it's just like you're taking tons of fire. And then Ramadi was mostly IEDs, which we took what I would consider a small harassment IED, because they came in all flavors and sizes. And then lots of sniper fire and then like harassment mortars. So it's, I think, like a conservative like 2-hour firefight where you're running low on ammo and you need water and you need support. It wasn't like Black Hawk Down shit I was doing. I was just surviving. So,
but still, that's scary though. You got shot at.
It's all different. It's all different. It is petrifying.
Like that's one thing I could never do. That's for sure.
Well, I think everybody should. If their careers work right, there's nothing bad I can say about the Marine Corps. I love it, and it's a different experience. You make the best friends of your life, so it's all good. Serve your country if you can, and don't hold it against people who, at whatever stage they were in their life, they just didn't join. That's the American land of the free.
Now you're serving your country in a different way by doing this podcast.
I'm serving baseball, folks, and that's our outro. Happy Veterans Day to everybody, to all those who served, and my buddy Dutch Chattahoochee, and all the other baseball fans out there. If you ever do see this show and you see that baseball hotline number,
give us a call.
Freaking call it, because it's open 24 hours and you can leave like a little message.
You don't have to talk baseball. Talk about your favorite snack if you want.
Talk about your favorite movie.
Like, I really love Skittles. Let's talk about Skittles.
And for the Spotify people that can't see it, 210, I didn't realize that, it was audio, 210-401-7394. 210-401-7394. All the truck drivers out there, listen to us on the long haul. Call in, say, hey, I want to talk about this college team I was on in 79, and we were awesome. I will look that shit up and talk about it.
I don't know what Taylor Tanks is up to, man.
You know what I'm saying? I love that kind of stuff. So it's just like...
I think trucking is like one of the most fascinating career choices.
Yeah.
Because like without truckers, this country would be fucked. Yeah. They haul all the goods around and deliver it to the places. Plus, I find it fascinating, the trucker career.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of YouTube like trucker vlogs, and it's just so interesting to watch their daily life, what they do.
All that stuff's interesting. Be more than happy to talk to you.
It's really cool too, like when they got it back into a bay and they had like no space and they had to like maneuver and stuff. Like that's.
Are you ain't kidding? That HEB up there off Nacogdoches? I don't know how they get in that fucking thing.
Like there's just
stop 4 lanes and 3 lanes of traffic. But yeah, that's the show, folks. Please call in, because it'll be up on YouTube, right? So people can we'll watch it after the fact that we're not live. Still call the hotline.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. We'd love to talk to you and get our little show going.
If you leave your number, we'd call you back during the show. We can have a little chit chat.
But that's today's baseball banter. I just need you, Dutch, to start deciding where you want to take your vacation: Dominican or Puerto Rico, or Colombia or Venezuela. Probably not Venezuela.
In Puerto Rico. Right now,
Puerto Rico, it's U.S. We're good, right? You don't need a passport. Just get on the plane.
What is it? The term for it's not a state, but it's
territory.
Like a territory. There we go.
It's a total territory. It's awesome.
You know where I really want to go is Canada. That's my first choice of.
Oh, dude, check this out. So, Puerto Rico's got everything. I've never been there. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Plus, great winter baseball. But I was gonna not trick L, but I was gonna be like, dude, maybe we do our honeymoon there. So I was looking for a little bit, because if you and me go, we're just getting standard hotel, but I was like, I can't really entice the wife to come unless I get something with a spa. It's on the beach. It's gotta be pimp, right? And I was looking at stuff there, and there's some freaking resort, I think it's a Marriott in Puerto Rico, that is so insanely pimp. It's like $1,500 a night. I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But there's some also hotels right there. There's Sixto Escobar Stadium.
Sixto Sanchez from the Marlins.
Let me find this where that is. I'll find the map. Oh, the maps.
And this is in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's like the.
And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's not Puerto Rico. It's probably I don't know.
And it's not Santo Domingo. It's Santo Domingo's in Dominican Republic. It's in.
You're like, I had to come up with something to entice her. I can't simply say, let's go to Puerto Rico. That'd be wild. You didn't tell her I was coming.
Estadio Sixto.
I just show up. Oh, weird. We're here at the same time.
It's in San Juan's the major city. Santo Domingo's in Dominican Republic. San Juan's a big city, but you could just get a flight to San Juan, and it's right there, dude. This stadium is sweet.
That'd be wild. You didn't tell her.
I think that's where Josh Gibson hit one of his longest home runs ever. But anyway.
So, say you're in Puerto Rico, and you tell her you're going for a honeymoon, and I randomly show up. Oh, weird. We're here.
That would be perfect. You guys will all be there and go to baseball.
This wasn't planned, but while we're here together, let's go watch a baseball game.
Oh, that's so good.
And you got to imagine the snacks they have at the stadium, too.
Oh, it's so good.
I bet it would be great.
And I hope they're playing the norteño or whatever, the awesome Mexican music, or the Latin flavor music that I love.
You know they are, man. You know they're
good stuff.
Pumping that stuff, which is great.
I love that.
It's solid.
So fun. All right, buddy. We'll till next time, folks. Tune in, call, whatever you want to do. Anything you do to help out 3BGB, big thanks to Let's Get To.
Leave a comment, say some shit.
Seguin River. Yeah, leave a comment. Seguin River Monsters, if you like the show, what could we do better? Who knows? We just love baseball. So thanks, everybody.
You don't like our fashion choice? You can tell us. I don't care.
We got one more. We'll do that one's a little bit. Should we do we'll do that one on that. Fade that one out. All right, I'm going to kill it on audition.
And closer.
Thanks, everybody. I'll stop the...
This song should have been called Hayride.
Hayride.
It's not.
What is it? Farmtown? Farm on the farm?
The farm, something like that.